Today we have another legendary monosynth from Korg, the Korg MiniKorg-700 from 1973. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Zach Marr from Alamo Music here in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications. This is our Alamo Sound Lab channel where we talk about all things music tech related. And today we're looking at the Korg MiniKorg-700, the very first portable monosynth that Korg mass produced from the year 1973. This thing is ancient, it's prehistoric. It belongs to the origin points of synthesizer history, and it's so old that the controls don't even make a lot of sense to someone with basic familiarity with subtractive synthesizers. This was designed as an accessory to play with your organ, and that's such a foreign concept to players today and even players in the later 70s and 80s. This is a strange contraption. Korg built a lot of organs. We reviewed the Yamaha SY1. They had a similar machine that went on top, that was designed to go with organs, and Roland as well had the SH1000. Stay tuned, we're going to do a comparison between the three of those. But I have to say, spoiler alert, the MiniKorg is definitely the coolest looking. Just look at this thing. It looks like it's straight out of the space age. The original space age, not the current one that we're living in. Beautiful design, awesome kind of button layout down here, even though it's like, what the hell is going on? You know, this is the filter, it's called the Traveler. You know, of course, you know, that's really intuitive, right? But very, very cool piece. What's also interesting is that some of the controls, like 10 is at the bottom, usually, you know, intuitively, are just, I'm so used to 10 being at the top when you use a slider. A lot of the maximizing values is you pull it down. Again, you have to imagine putting this on top of another instrument, not having it below. I will plane it. When I play it, it's going to be below. But just a strange thing out of time, out of history. Apparently, according to legend, from what I could find, Vangelis cut his teeth on the Korg MiniKorg-700. And this was in the category of, you know, the ARP. I lost the name. There's an ARP kind of organ accessory that is also in this category of synth. It's not really, the MiniMoog was still the kind of mind-blowing synth that everybody wanted. It was the dominant monosynth, but these are really cool pieces of history. It's telling that Korg is re-releasing the MiniKorg-700 this year in a limited edition kind of run, and they did it with the original guy that designed it. I believe his name is Fumio Miyada. He oversaw the re-release of it, and he was the one that designed it originally. This was version 1. There was a second revision, it's a different instrument. It's the MiniKorg-700S, and it added a second oscillator and some modulation. It added, I think, ring modulation, some other kind of controls. This is, I'm still figuring out exactly what each of these things does. It's not, again, super intuitive, and there's not a ton of information out there. But like I said, the Traveler is the filter. What's interesting is originally there was these little, you weren't allowed to switch these, they weren't supposed to be able to go inverted because it would filter out theoretically all the sound, but because it's an analog filter, they're not perfect. That doesn't really happen, and so a lot of people would remove. There was a little notch that would prevent it from doing that, and people would remove it. And on this one, someone removed it, which allows you to invert them and get more sounds out of it. Then you have kind of a basic envelope where you can affect the attack, and then you can switch from kind of a more percussive to a more sustaining tones. You can go from 32 feet to 4 feet with the oscillator, and then you have a couple different oscillator shapes, and then 2 chorus effects, which I'm guessing they're just taking 2 of the different oscillator shapes and creating a chorus effect. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna look more into it in our follow-up video. We'll get into how some of this works under the hood. But the filter is known as being really legendary and nice sounding. You can't turn resonance off completely, and it doesn't go away, or it isn't. You can't turn it off completely. I think it's the bright, either the expand or the bright allows you to kind of have 2 settings on the resonance. And the filter's got a high pass and a low pass, and they're both resonant from what I understand. And so, also an interesting thing, usually you have a resonant low pass filter and a non-resonant high pass. In this case, the resonance is applied to both from what I understand. The filter, they actually took the design and put it in the Volca keys and bass. Again, from what I understand, some of these things I need to verify. Didn't have as much time to research before shooting this video, and we'll correct anything that's wrong. Also, not a lot of information easily available about this one, part of the reason we wanted to make this video. And then the envelope, I think one of these affects the resonance on the expand and the bright, and the other one affects the kind of the envelope. But and then it's got a couple other, it's got like a sustain switch, a bender switch, a repeat where it kind of has an LFO that repeats the note, vibrato, delay vibrato, and portamento. And then that's it. It's pretty simple. There's no CV, no MIDI, all pre, all of that. You can get it modded. I know you can get it modded for CV, but it does have a pretty fantastic sound. I'm still getting used to it, and I'm not 100% sure this is to spec. It 100% isn't, but there's some weird things that happen I think some of these switch contacts need to get cleaned and potentially reattached. I think it took a pretty hard hit when it shipped to us. So we're gonna have our tech go through it. But let's take a listen to it. You can get a sense of the sound. There's videos out there that do a better job of demoing it. I'm gonna do my best to give you a sense of the sound, and we're gonna do a follow-up video, like I said, where we compare the SY1, this one, and the SH1000 from Roland. So let's take a listen, and I'll wrap up with a few more thoughts. Here we go. Okay, again, before you blast me for my playing, I know that wasn't the prettiest. I was trying to give you a sense of all the different tones that are hidden inside this pretty awesome piece of history. I, again, think it's not the most complex, it's not the most expressive instrument, but it's very inspiring as it just feels and sounds alive, and it's just so old that there's something when you're playing it that is just magical about it. And there's a reason why people still pay upwards of $1,500 to own one of these. Things I couldn't find out that if you know, please share below how many of these were sold initially. It looks like they were pretty inexpensive, a couple $100 when they first came out, so really affordable. I'm curious to know what the actual kind of first price on the market was and how many of these were made. Also, it was really hard for me to buy the 700 and not the 700S because the 700S with the additional features seems a lot cooler, and from what I've read online, it has a better sound, you can do more with it, and it's a lot more fun. Again, this is kind of just a first video exploring this. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you know the history behind this, please help me tell the story because it's not well told from what I can tell. It's buried in different kind of forms and also kind of obscure sides. So would love to revisit this in our other video and get all the facts out there so that people can find that information more readily. Again, if you want to talk more, come to alamomusic.com, chat with us there, give us a call. Would love to see you. And if you didn't, please hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. We'd love to see you here again. Thanks for watching today.